The volume's down on these.
Yep.
Cool.
Good. We're live.
All right. Sound good? Got sound? Brent, confirm?
Yes.
All right.
All right. What's up, guys? Anthony here with Empire Music, empiremusic.com for our live. This is our second edition of our live happy hour hang. So we're not drinking on the job, but if you're home or maybe even if you're at work, maybe sip on something.
Yeah.
Must be 21. I'm going to put that guideline out there now. We're not disobeying any state regulations there. But thanks for joining us for this happy hour. Kind of maybe it'll be an hour, maybe a little longer, maybe a little bit less. We'll see what kind of interaction I get with you guys. But like I said, I'm Director of Sales Anthony Pecora at Empire Music, here with the head honcho, one of the most hardworking men in the business, Mr. Joe Revita. Say hi,
What's up,
Joe.
everybody? How are we today?
Store manager Todd Myra.
Hello.
Man that has taught me more about electric guitars than really honestly anyone I can think of. So between the three of us, the knowledge base we tend to think is pretty vast here at Empire Music. So if it's bass related, I got you covered. If it's acoustic guitar, Mr. Joe Revita. If it's electric guitar, Todd. And we all can kind of have some gray area there. We all can answer all the questions for you. So if you've been in the shop, then you know us. If you've watched us on our YouTube page, then you know us. You know all of our catchphrases, you know all of our idiosyncrasies, all the weaknesses and strengths that we all have here in the shop. And if you're watching this on YouTube, which hopefully you are, please hit the subscribe button. We greatly appreciate that. And this one, we're just doing it on YouTube. We kind of got away from the Facebook thing. We had some issues with the simulcast thing where it was going high quality to one, not to the other. No fault of our own. It just, we're learning this kind of as we go. So we appreciate you kind of learning along with us and giving us all the feedback that we've gotten from you guys. And so we're just doing this on YouTube for right now. Maybe we revisit the Facebook thing later on. Brent and myself, Brent, who's back behind the camera. Say hi, Brent. Hey, he's just waving at us. We spent a ton of time kind of troubleshooting where audio issues were going, where video sync issues were going, really like pulling our hair out because none of us are. This is like the maiden voyage for all of us.
Yeah, for sure.
None of us are tech guys.
No, not at all.
I mean, well, Joe, major tech guy.
You should. Monday morning by 10:01, I'm already punching a computer for something or swearing over my breath, not under my breath.
So we're still working through a lot of the kinks. If there's anything going on weird out there, obviously let us know. We'll try to address it. But we think that just getting this on YouTube has gotten things a little bit more simplified for us.
Wait, hold on. We have guests from Ireland and London right now.
Yo, for real?
That's exciting. That's pretty cool.
Robin McCauley.
And Mega Martico from London. That's pretty rad.
Hi, guys.
Welcome. What's happening? Thanks for hanging out.
Yeah, we're worldwide. Global phenomenon.
Global.
Empire Music
Global.
here.
From the streets of Mount Lebanon.
So the goal with the happy hour thing is to give kind of like a looser look into what we do in the shop. I mean, we do our product demos. Joe does the new this week. I occasionally guest spot in that. But like, that's a more rigid platform for us as we want to really showcase product. Here's kind of like, we want to talk about the shop. We want to see exactly what we want to show you guys. We could be a little bit looser than we get sometimes in the videos. And we want to talk about like what goes on from a week to week basis in the shop where it's like, what guitars did we get in? I know we do the new this week, but it's like, we got to give our take on what came through. We can talk about sort of the workflow that goes on in the shop here or lack thereof. Sometimes it gets pretty hectic. It's been a crazy year for us really in the shop, but like, it's always a hectic time because we're just selling a lot of guitars. So we like to kind of give an insight as to kind of how things are flowing through the shop here. And we're going to continue to kind of improve upon this. And I think hopefully on the next few times that we do this happy hour thing, we're going to have some giveaways. We don't know exactly what that's going to entail yet. Joe and I were kind of brainstorming today as far as how the giveaways are going to work. If we might build something up for a month, we might give, if you've with us in the past, we've given away an HHH. What was the Squire we gave away? HSH.
Yeah,
Squire.
HSH,
We gave away a distiller amp, which is a Fender custom shop amp. We gave away a few pedals.
Yeah.
And we gave away a Squire dual humbucker. It wasn't a natural thin line, like one of Todd's favorite style guitars. Yeah. We gave that stuff away. So we're working with some dealers. And
our Fender rep I was just on the phone with Matt. He committed a giveaway so we'll work that out. So it's gonna be a Fender product.
Right. So stay tuned. We're gonna be doing some giveaways. if you guys ask us questions, we got a lot of responses to the questions already, and we're always like super happy about that. But if you ask us some questions, we're going to enter you into a giveaway. We're going to do a giveaway live during the event, we think. And if we do a month-long giveaway, then we're going to pick the winners on during the event too. So give us some feedback. What do you guys want to see from that? Like what would be a cool giveaway? Obviously a Fender custom shop would be awesome. Let's keep it reasonable.
Yeah.
But like, what do you guys, what should we give away? How would you like us to give it away? What are some thoughts that you guys have? Share some comments with us. We'll be more than happy to kind of interact with you guys.
And the other questions we'll get to toward the end. So if you're submitting questions now, cool, we'll definitely hit them at the end.
Yeah, for sure. We got a couple questions that were preloaded from the emails that we sent out, and we're going to get to those guys first because they're, front in line, you know what I mean? So what's happening in the shop? We're going to kind of start these events with letting you know, like I said, what's going on in the shop. Well, Joe, how many boxes of guitars have we received?
Tons of, we've got 2 pallets of Fender B stock, which I'm going to talk about. We got 74 Taylors, yesterday, right? 74 Taylors. It's crazy because, as we mentioned probably last time, the manufacturers are shipping typically more in as opposed to shipping just every day to you, they're just getting a bunch of inventory for you ready to go and getting it out the door at once, which is nuts. Something I was thinking about what's going on, and you just mentioned it's been a crazy year. So every day I do our books from just our receipts from the day before, and I make notes on our daily report. And it's weird to see just over the last week, closed for C virus, closed for C virus. It's just how interesting it's been to realize it's been 12 months since we basically at the end of last March went to web only, and we're just doing in-store curbside stuff, no customers, no lessons. It's been pretty crazy to now where, we're not doing our in-store lessons yet, but we are still doing mostly web business. There's a lot of in-store activity. Yeah. There's more than obviously then.
Foot traffic's definitely, as Pennsylvania's restrictions start to ease a little bit, we see foot traffic certainly jumping back into the store. I think there was a point yesterday between the phone and people coming in, we didn't have 30 seconds of downtime or to even catch your breath until 6 o'clock at night. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
it's pretty wild.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
And if you look at the front of our shop right now, all 74 of those Taylor guitars are lined up. I organized them yesterday by serial number. My wife came in with me this morning, and she does most of the inventory receiving, pretty much all of it. So we had it all organized. We knocked that out before we came in. The cool thing is that for stock product, and this was all Takati product, which is 200 series, 100 series Academies, GS Minis, GS Mini Pluses, baby Taylors. So we're going to be set on that stuff. So if you go to the site, I will tell you, it's going to take us probably a week to get, because Todd does. So Aaron's our photographer. He takes all the pictures. He gets them all to Todd. Then Todd makes all the listings. So when you go onto the website or you're on, don't buy on eBay or Reverb because we can get you a better hookup directly. Yeah, directly, always. But if you're on there, those listings don't magically appear there. Todd puts them there. So we worked really hard to getting that stuff going. And then B stock, Fender has B stock guitars that they include warranties with. So we're really excited about them. We buy a lot of them. This was probably our biggest buy ever. And basically what they are is they're guitars that Fender, you can buy a guitar from Fender.com if you want. Now I'll tell you, we set the guitars up and I know that they don't. That's why most of these guitars are here. They weren't set up. People get them and they're like, oh, it's a little buzzy, or I broke my G string. Get it?
Real quick on that B stock. Do you have a specific B stock spot on the website? Do we have a page for B stock?
No, I don't think. We can't, since we have so much. We may just add one.
Yeah, we'll probably add a B stock page.
To give you guys an idea where you can find the B stock.
It'll be in the Fender categorized.
Yeah. So what is B stock?
Well, B stock are essentially guitars. Yeah, they're guitars that got reworked for some reason, or they were returned to Fender.com. By the looks of things, as a general rule, I think they're Fender.com returns, because most of them are pretty much mint and I just think somebody got it and didn't dig it for some reason, or it wasn't set up and they didn't know what was going on. It's just obviously if you're buying from Fender.com, you're a more novice buyer. Most people are going to go to their shop like us or wherever you prefer to shop and get a guitar and make sure it's if it's online, you're going to talk to them and make sure it's all set up the way you like. So then what we do is we have the grueling process of taking them all out and inspecting them. Todd goes through and basically top to bottoms them, right? And if there's something, if there's a ding in it or whatever, you'll mark it in the listing.
Yeah, not just me. It goes through Aaron and me. So you're getting 2 people on it.
And so how often do you think you see a damaged guitar?
If honestly,
I guess it depends on the batch, but this batch seems to be pretty solid, right?
Including now and in the past. If we had 50 B stocks, two may have like a small.
Yeah.
I mean, the majority of them are. I'm asking myself, why is this a B stock?
And I mean, if it's something really bad,
We'll send it back. Yeah.
we would keep it for in store.
Sure.
So you could say, okay, we can show you this in person and say, like, there's the issue with this. If it's online,
yeah,
that's a little trickier to, like, you know, with major damage.
Yeah, any small, any little minor blend gets notated. I mean, you're getting. I mean, how I see it is how I'm describing it.
Right. So that's a great option. If people come in looking, we don't do a ton of used in the store. Like that's
No.
Empire Music, we're not really like a used store. So it's nice to grab something like the B stock to give people.
Yeah.
You're looking for a deeper discount than what we can give. Obviously,
on a new guitar,
price,
yeah.
we can't go lower than MAP, but you know.
Well, there's a discount from the manufacturer, and you get a warranty. So you know the deal with used, and this happens all the time, right? Yesterday we had someone that wanted to bring a trade in, and the guitar just wasn't something we would want to sell, and sometimes that bums people out. The problem with it is that when someone tells us, "Oh, I haven't played this guitar in 2 years," it's perfect. Well, it's like if you haven't played a guitar in 2 years, it's not perfect. I can promise you that. They need maintenance, so we end up turning away most of the stuff. And then here's the thing: y'all are bright people. You can go onto Reverb or eBay. You have a cell phone. You can sell your guitar yourself. So less people are likely to trade in. But really, to me, it's like the B stock essentially come in at used pricing. And include a warranty, and we do a factory setup and inspection. So you're not going to get something with a jacked up truss rod or a twisted neck. Which, believe me, if you buy used guitars online blind, you're gonna. And it's not like people are trying to trick you. I think they just don't know. You know what I mean? They're selling you something they think is perfect because they haven't played it in a while. So it's a good way to avoid it. So that's the story. I mean, keep an eye out for the next little bit. We'll have those B stocks up and running.
If you're on the website and you just go up to our search tab in the upper, I guess if you're looking at it right hand corner.
Mm-hmm.
And just type in the words B stock and you search that, that's going to bring up whatever listings are there. So if you don't see a category that necessarily is Fender B stock or whatever, you can do that as a search, and that'll kind of lead you through a lot of that stuff. And speaking of, you know, Joe kind of alluded to this, kind of leads to another point that we like to make is we do a full factory setup on every guitar. Todd does a ton of work here. He's a factory authorized tech as well as Aaron Hutzel. So we'll get into kind of what the workflow is with that, but why don't you talk a little bit about what we do as far as a factory set when you get that guitar? So it's on our floor. Joe Smith in Arizona orders the guitar, and like it's going to go through your hands or Todd's hands. What do you do to ensure that that's going to get to them, or at least it's going to leave the shop here in optimum condition? What's a factory setup mean?
Well, I mean, the major, I guess, points that I cover are the neck relief, making sure that's straight. That the action is at proper manufacturer spec, depending on what that manufacturer is. You know, pickup height is where it needs to be. But, you know, obviously it's in tune. You know, those things. And
Overrated.
Making sure nuts and bolts are tightened and things like that. You know, the saddles, individual saddles are at the right radius. So,
like your intonation, like this is what's really important. This is like that. Everyone thinks you just like swing a truss rod and you just like, oh, now you're set up. That's not on an electric guitar. That's nothing. You know what I mean? It's like you can have a straight neck and a guitar that plays out a tune up and down it. And I will say, like, I'd say one of Todd's strengths is his attention to detail. And it's just like, like that is like a tedious task, intonating a guitar to do it properly. And that's why we really don't get too many returns, right? Because the guitar shows up like it's intended to, which I think is always
ever return on this is not intonated.
Yeah.
Be surprised. We've heard everything.
Yeah, that's true.
If you return a guitar to Empire Music, shame on you.
But you're not going to get something with electronics that don't work and all those things.
Sure.
You know.
And I mean, special requests. So it's like we occasionally do. Now we don't go when we get the special requests. Say the Holy Grail, low action, no buzz.
Yeah.
What if you want a higher action? We don't tend to go to the extreme with that. If someone would request low action, we say we'll get it as low as we feel comfortable getting it to you because
we have to ship it to you.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, but if you want like, you know, depending on the guitar, if you want a specific type of string on there and you want a specific.
Well, your bass guys all the time want flat wounds, right? They want flats. Like we can, here's the thing, in a custom shop, we'll do whatever you want. You know what I mean? Like we'll include that with it.
Yeah,
you know,
sure. You want to set flat wounds on an American-made instrument, like even outside of custom shop.
Yeah, we'll take care of you. We'll hook you up. Like we want
on the deal, man.
We want you to have the guitar that you want the way you want it, and now you don't have to take your $1,500 or $5,000 whatever instrument and take it to a local place and spend another $150 to get it right. You know, it's like we should be doing that here to help you, and that's what we're here to do.
So, and then last week, I know if you watched our new this one, we had some really, really killer stuff. We always have killer stuff
Yeah,
going through,
always
but
good stuff.
we love when different stuff pops through. So the last new this week that we did featured a ton of really, really cool Gibson stuff. Gibson stuff that's been like flying off the shelves, higher ticket items, but it just doesn't matter because it's just so cool. So for both of you guys, so
Yeah.
Joe, a little bit like what you ordered, what we got, and
Yeah.
then we'll toss it to Todd. Then you break down kind of like the difference between the regular and the custom shop and the different levels of maybe relic.
Yeah.
So what we got was a lot of Gibson, custom shop, Murphy Lab stuff, and some standard Gibson stuff. Joe, why don't you speak a little bit about what we got, and then we'll have Todd break it down and like what's right for different people.
I mean, Gibson had a live event, or a virtual live event in November, showing off the new 2021 catalog, and we had a really trying year with Gibson last year. I mean, it's just like we were basically sold out of Gibson in April, and then we basically, I mean, I don't know if we got 10 Gibson guitars from May on. I mean, last year was brutal. It was really, really hard, and I watched the live event. I put my orders in right away, and their big thing was the Murphy Lab. You know, Fender Custom Shop, we are one of the biggest dealers in the country for Fender Custom Shop, and they build incredible instruments that are high quality, that represent what buyers are asking for. You know, the reason why this makes sense is like we do a good job, I think, of ordering and creating unique items and giving great service and all that stuff. But if the guitars are off the mark and customers don't want them, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? It's just like it's so the Murphy Lab was an automatic home run. Todd will talk about that. And we schedule all that stuff out, which is tricky. Like every brand does it differently. But with Gibson, it's just like you got to order in 4-month increments. It's really complicated. And we were supposed to start to get the stuff in February. And then it was like didn't show. And then like March, I couldn't even get an answer. And all of a sudden my email goes off, hey, you're getting these Murphy Labs, your standard series. And now we're gonna like get into a flow because then we know guitars are coming out. So now it's like I talked to our rep yesterday. We're already reordering the guitars that we've sold. We're going to have those in the next couple months. So we should have a consistent Gibson supply. While it might not be perfect this year, it should be a consistently good representation, where last year it was a consistently terrible representation. So do you want to break down the
so like
styles?
What's Murphy Lab? What's it? What are the relicing comparing to like Fender, how they do the relicing? So we'll let Todd kind of show you some of that stuff. He knows this stuff like ridiculously.
So of course, I mean, what we received were the 59 model.
All 59s, right?
Yeah, all 59s. Now, 6 of them we got were the Murphy Lab, and then we also received 2 that were just the regular reissues. There are no differences between the guitars in terms of the specs. It really, when you see Murphy Lab, it just means the relicing and the finish. That's kind of the specialty of that particular guitar. I think what we've received so far have been ultralight, light, heavy, and ultra heavy versions. This one's a heavy that I'm holding right here. We're just using it as an example. The ultralight is going to be pretty much like a VOS. There's not going to be any marks on it.
Vintage old stock?
Correct.
Is that what
that
means?
It'll have, I mean, the finish will be cloudy and maybe a little faded, but it's going to look pretty good. You know, in terms of like almost kind of like a closet classic Fender. You get into the light. The way I explain the light is almost like how a journeyman relic is. It just has, you have like small dings, not a lot of like really heavy wear like this, but it still looks like it's been played, right? It has the dings and stuff. This is a heavy, so now you're getting into the actual, you know, this would be like a relic on a Fender guitar. You're starting to see neck wear, body wear, like belt wear, lots of chips. And then of course the one we sold first was the ultra heavy. That thing was beat up, and it was the one I actually, you could see it. It's in the video I do of these, and it's breathtaking in terms of
shout
what
out
it
to
looks
Ryan
like.
Duke who's the guy that grabbed that one.
I mean, I think it was unanimous. Everybody's like, that's the one.
Like, what was that? Dirty Lemon?
It was like
Dirty
Lemon.
Lemon finish.
Yeah. They're world-class guitars. I mean, the second you touch them, they're not inexpensive, but
we get
they're awesome.
So many cool guitars in the shop, but every so often, well, more than I've actually been on to, but like some stuff comes through where it stops everyone in the shop in their tracks. From Aaron, Brent, all of us. We're just like, oh my God. And how many, think about how many customers have come through just this week. They see what we get and be like, oh, you guys got the Murphy Labs.
Yeah.
Like just to see them.
Yeah. I mean,
whether they're buying them or not, everyone wants to see them. They're ridiculous guitars.
Whether they
really
heard we had them or they're just people walking in, they usually go, whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, exactly. I had to put the kibosh on someone playing one the other night. They weren't too happy with me, but that's how it goes. That's how it goes.
Rules is rules.
Yeah, so like we're super excited about the Gibson stuff, and like Joe alluded to, we're hoping this is going to be a really good year with them, and we're excited to get that stuff more in the flow here in the shop.
Yeah, it's tricky. We got some momentum going, so we'll keep it cooking.
Yeah, right. So kind of brings us to one of the first questions that I had a grand plan for this question, and it was kind of spoiled by us just being too on the ball there. So our good customer, Carl Kelly. Carl, if you're watching out there, hi. We just saw you because he
already commented. Yeah.
So his question earlier in the week was, has my gold top arrived yet? What year was it?
57.
57 gold top that we had. I was on order for a while.
Oh, goodness.
He also says, am I the most annoying customer that you have? No, Carl, you are not the most annoying customer you have because you buy guitars.
Yes.
You're much less annoying when you're buying guitars,
yes.
No matter what you put us through here in the shop.
True.
We always, business trumps all. Carl, you're the man. We love it when you come into the shop. But legitimate question, is Empire physically expanding, and what new things will be possible with the expanded space? Yes, we are expanding. The area directly above us is currently under construction for our second floor. Obviously, Joe's more in tune with what's going on up there and what we're going to do. We've been kind of brainstorming that for a while now. It's been under wraps for about a year now.
Yeah.
So Joe, speak on what's the future hold here for the
for
the expansion of Empire Music. We're all excited about this.
Well,
it's
like we took a space last May, I think. I've been paying for that space since the last August or September. The idea behind it initially was our lesson program was going great. We typically do 450, 500 lessons a week here, before the COVID situation. And we wanted to expand that. We have a lower level. So when you walk in street level, you have our main retail floor, and we had lessons, a couple lesson rooms up here, but mainly on the lower floor were lessons. And I was going to expand that and then move offices upstairs, our repair and storage was kind of the idea. Now, obviously with COVID, the lesson program is kind of funky, so we're not doing the lessons in store. But the lockdown really gave us a chance to focus on stuff like this. You know what I mean? And we love doing stuff like this. It's been really cool because we get to know more about you. You get to know more about us. It's obviously helped our business. You know what I mean? There's no doubt about that. Yeah. But it's like, when you do what we do, it can get kind of grindy a little bit at times. Whereas this is like something exciting to look forward to. I think Brent likes them the most. He likes to set up the equipment and he handles just that's his favorite thing.
Never any technical issues with that. That's fine.
So we're gonna have
shaking his head.
Yeah,
it's literally searing right through me right now. This is great.
We're gonna have about 3,000 square feet upstairs. That'll be, for the time being, proper offices for us to do our stuff off the floor. And have our repair and our storage. So our inventory will be all tight where it's at. And then we'll have a main space that we'll probably start to do some really cool group activities, like for our local customers that want to come in. It's something we've always thought about. We did a rock school. We do a rock school for kids. But, a lot of adults want to play with other people. You don't want to be in a rock school necessarily, you know what I mean? But it's like you might want to get together and have jam nights and have things where you can get together and play with a drummer. Because I can tell you, Todd and Anthony have extensive histories gigging. You know what I mean? I don't have an extensive history gigging. But I'll tell you, there's nothing more fun than a drummer and a guitar player. My wife was taking drum lessons for 3 weeks, and we were making noise in our living room. It was awesome. It was just more fun. So having that experience of being able to engage that way, we want to definitely offer that. And there's always potential where we're at right now to expand more. We just have to decide, is this pace that we're going? There's only 7 of us that work here. You know what I mean? It's just
we get a lot done out of what we have here, and we're always looking at ways to improve it. But it's small, and
so
it's pretty crazy.
Upstairs, the most exciting thing is we're gonna have a better photography area, so our guitar photos will be able to be elevated even more, which I think we have some of the best in the country. I really do. And then we'll have a live area or a video area where we'll have more space. We're in this Fender custom shop right now. The phone's ringing. We're taping boxes. People are losing their mind. It's like we're in a fishbowl here. You can walk by and see what we're doing. So it's not conducive to being great at this. And we have Brent has to lug all the stuff in, set it all up. It's like a hot mess. It's not efficient. So now we'll have a primo spot with killer internet privacy, and we'll be able to churn out content all day, which is a big goal of ours. So hopefully we're doing this weekly at that point, with you guys and connecting more often.
We want to get live events too with manufacturers. So if you've been in Empire in the past, one of the really cool events through the year would be when a Fender custom shop would come through. We had Dale Wilson wiring up guitars in front of us. We had Tom Krause in the shop. We do the the Taylor Road Show. We do the Martin events. We're going to have a dedicated space to do that. So who knows what, obviously, like, business pivots after a year like we just had. Even when things get back to normal, there's still going to be, I think the cool thing is that it allows us to see other avenues that can be successful too.
Yeah.
So it's like the brick and mortar thing, super important to us. That's always going to be there. But how else can we supplement that with these type of events? Live online. So you can watch it from the comfort of your own home, at work, in your car, wherever you might be, just on your phone, sitting in a bar somewhere or whatever. It's like, you know, there's all these other avenues. And I think that's like the cool thing throughout the year that we experienced was like, there's a lot of ways to get the message across that don't necessarily involve people being in the store. And I'm sure we're not the only business that kind of experienced that.
No, I think that 99% of the people we serve aren't in Pittsburgh. You know, they're somewhere else.
And that's growing.
And that's like, it's like that gap. I mean, it's like, it's really, I mean, 4 or 5 years ago, we probably did 80% of our business, 90% of our business in our store. And now it's totally flip-flopped. And that's better for us overall, realistically, because there's more of you elsewhere than here. That's just life. You know what I mean? There's more people not in Pittsburgh than there are in Pittsburgh.
That's true. Unless you're out in Cali, that's shipping, man. We
Yeah,
do free shipping out to Cali, guys. When you
We're happy to take it.
get those squires from us from Washington State.
Yeah, you spoke
we end up losing $7 on the deal, man. And also, to kind of backtrack onto Carl's thing, a point that I wanted to bring up that I kind of missed here. How long did we wait for Carl's guitar?
Oh gosh. Well, that's complicated because
it was a long time.
It was on order for a long time.
And we had a guy around Christmas time that wanted an ES335 and like tobacco burst or whatever it was. And ended up canceling his order because we were having issue getting things from Gibson. Well, every manufacturer, it's starting to change a little bit. But there was a while we couldn't get Taylors. I mean, Fender's been pretty steady, but there's always issues with that. I can't stress the importance enough. When you see and this is not salesmanship, I'm not trying to sell you something extra, but like when you see a guitar that you want now, buy it. You know what I'm saying? It's like that's the time to do it because that guitar might not be there later on.
Yeah, it isn't a sleazy, like, you know, we're like, to us, we're going to match you with the right instrument. I think that's the thing that we all share in common, kind of like, you know, it's like, it's really, we're not really in here selling you guitars. I think we're in here trying to make sure you get the right thing. And most of the time, many of you are super knowledgeable, right? They know it, you know what you want. You're confirming it, right? You're like, oh, hey, this definitely has this, you know, spec. This is what I want. Awesome. Or whatever it might be. But the reality of it is right now we're ordering Martin guitars, like D15s are into like the second quarter of 2022, a year from now. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's a $1,500 or $1,600 guitar, you know, so it's like, so it's not about, you know, it's just like trying to get your money and we showed them, we all high five. Yeah. It's just the reality of if you really like one and we have it and we can take great care of you, you should consider it. Or if we can give you an accurate ETA on an order, like take it, because the other trick is we have people waiting for guitars to come in and they're getting pre-sold before they show up. So we have something scheduled for July. Okay, I'll wait until July. Well, it's like, well, someone else isn't willing, it wants to buy it. You know what I mean? So just to keep that in mind. So if you are having trouble finding stuff here or whatever it might be, give us a shout. We'll give you the best information we can. If you'd like to put a deposit on one, awesome. If not,
we'll take our chances. Guys, like in the past week, we talked to them on the phone. It's going fine. They're like, oh, let me sleep on it overnight. They wake up the next day and it's sold.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I mean, we still sold it. It's fine. But it's like, I want you to get the guitar that you want.
Yeah.
So just if you're out there shopping, even if you're shopping at different stores, like if you see a guitar that you want and it fits in your budget right now, just don't wait. Like this isn't the time to do that because places, it's harder to get stuff than ever. Right. You know what I mean?
Customer questions.
Yeah. So jumping on the next thing here. Oh, this is some bass stuff. And you guys didn't submit your names on these, so I don't know who this was, but I'm a longtime bassist. I find myself tempted to take the plunge and to get my first Fender custom shop bass. I currently own 2 American P basses. Could you talk about the differences in quality or craftsmanship with the custom shop? All 3 of us can certainly do that. We love the Fender custom shop stuff. Since you're a bass player, myself, as the guy, I do all the custom shop bass videos here. I personally own a 58 P bass that you've heard me talk about ad nauseum because I can't shut up about it during my videos. If you're thinking about a custom shop, any instrument, a Strat, and you're ready to play American Pro stuff, do it. If it fits in your budget, do it. You won't regret it. It's such an enjoyable thing to experience playing anything custom shop. Every time I pick up my custom shop bass, I love it. and I say this before, I've said this to people on the phone, they laugh at me, but it's the truth. They're cheap for what they are. Like you're getting a hand-built, small luthier quality bench-made guitar by one of the biggest names in the world, by the biggest name in the world,
Yeah.
as far as fretted instruments are concerned. So, is an American Pro great? Yeah. Is an American Original like a killer guitar?
Mhm.
It sure is. But when you step into custom shop level, you're really into that like next stratosphere of feels. I mean, you do a lot of Todd's done how many custom shop builds have you done? Hundreds of custom shop builds. He designed our Empire 67. How do you view the difference between, say, like a high level American production guitar and a custom shop guitar?
Yeah, I mean, American Pro 2s, American Original, they're fantastic guitars. I mean, you would be happy with a guitar like that. I mean, if you wanted I guess you want to call it the real deal Fender, if you wanted to really be at that spot where you're actually playing what you believe is a quality Fender, that's fine. When you get into the custom shop, though, I mean, the attention to detail is just a whole nother level. I think you said it best that they're like reproductions, right? Or they're not. You can't look at it just like another guitar. They're not like replicas; they're reproductions.
Yeah.
Right? So meaning that these instruments are being made on the same machines that are still around that were used back in the day. So it's like getting a guitar from time.
It's a 60-year-old guitar today, or a 70-year-old guitar today.
And in expanding on that, it sounds like a 60-year-old guitar. It looks like a 60-year-old guitar, depending on what finish you get or welding. I mean, it's crazy, and we've seen it time and time again. I've had guys bring in period strats. I had a guy bring in a 57 to compare it to one we had because he didn't want to like lug that around. I don't blame him, right? He wants to, bring out their priceless 57, and it was hard to tell the difference.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just a treat to be able to play an original, but then to play it against the custom shop, it was wow. Yeah, it was crazy.
It's like when the dude brought the basses in that time. I spoke to this on the last happy hour thing, so I won't like go deep into it, but it's just like it was hard to tell, and there was actually some feels on the modern one that were better. It felt to some extent more substantial of an instrument. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think anyone that's thinking about it, if you can get your hands on one, especially if you're local or if you're even near us, come in and check it out. Pick my brain if it's a bass. Pick Todd's brain, Joe's brain. Like they know we all know that stuff really well. It was funny. I was doing a custom shop video today with Brent, and I was like, I don't even have to go over these specs anymore. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because you do so many of them, you now know them so well. Our knowledge base on that stuff's getting really, really strong. And obviously, we're sitting in a room worth probably.
Oh yeah. Well, there's cost and there's value too. Something you hit on there. It's just like the value, like price. It's going to be more expensive. You know what I mean? And we understand that, and that's not for everybody. And that doesn't mean that you can't afford it. It means you may just not view guitars that way, and that's totally fine. But I always think about things like in a pyramid. If you think about a pyramid, right at the bottom here is $100 guitars. Like basically anybody who's interested in a guitar can likely invest $100 into a guitar. So what happens there? Tons of instruments get made in $100 or $200, and your expectation isn't really that much, right? Because anybody, like it's $200. Your expectation is like, hey, it's a guitar. The trick being is you get to the top of the price point, there's just fewer people, right? There's just less people that can invest in that or willing to invest in that. So the price is actually suppressed. Like a $200 guitar is actually, in many instances, depending on, you have to be careful what you buy, it can be almost a ripoff. You know what I mean? It can be something that looks like a guitar, but isn't functioning. Oh, it was just $200. We run into this with guitars that are on Amazon, all like no-name guitars. Oh, it's just $100. Well, it's like you get it, and it's like firewood with strings. You can't even play it. So like to me, that was $100 of $100 was a ripoff. Whereas here, the price is scrutinized by the manufacturer because they know that they're asking someone for a premium, and they're going to do everything they can to make it worth significantly more than that. And that's how, I always say to every customer that comes in the door here, if you buy something from us, we've already bought it ourselves. That's every product in the store. It's because we believe in it. And if it's not in here, it's not in here because we're afraid to buy guitars. It's because we don't think it doesn't fit our message about what a guitar should be in a certain price point regardless. But the custom shop, we could blindfold and take anything. I mean, it's phenomenal.
Yeah. So yeah, if you're thinking about whoever that was, if you're thinking about a custom shop bass, I mean, again, if it fits in your budget, do it. If you get a chance, give me a call at the shop too, 412-343-5299. The phone number's down. You can email me too. It's all of our names at Empire Music. It's Anthony at EmpireMusic.com, Todd at EmpireMusic.com. and Joe. It'll get right to anyone. So if you have any questions or just even want to get a quote,
Yeah.
it doesn't take us that long to get you a base level quote. Well, obviously things can change. I was talking to a gentleman yesterday about, like, we were out of the stack knob basis. I was like, dude, I can get you a stack knob quote in like 15 minutes that will get you within a few $100s of what you want.
Yeah.
So, like, don't hesitate to reach out to us. It's really not, it's not a big deal to just get a quote. We're not finalizing anything. And if you have questions, let us know. We'll walk you through all
And
this.
our lead times are shorter because Fender Custom Shop
Oh, right.
guarantees us X. Like, we sell so much custom shop that we get X amount of builds a month. And what we can do is we can say, hey, you know, the build process might be 3 months. Well, typically you'll hear 6 to 8 months is what you'll hear from Fender Custom Shop. Well, we can get you in a 4-month-ish range because I'll just substitute a stock model we're going to bring in and we'll put your build in there. So it's like, not only can we get you the guitar accurately designed, which is number one priority, right? Get the right thing, but we can get it the fastest. So we'll definitely take care of you on that. And Todd's the wizard of specking guitars. That's for darn sure.
Everything. Even if Joe or I spec one out, it generally goes.
It goes through
him
Todd,
at the
yeah.
end to like make sure. It's so funny because I'll check all this stuff off, and Todd's like, "Oh wait, what about this?"
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even think about it. So he's definitely the soothsayer when it comes to that type of stuff. Next question from a customer. Well, this is be pretty quick. Will there be a Fender Acoustasonic bass? We don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, knowing Fender, they've thought about it. I mean, they've released 3 different electric shapes.
Yeah.
So I can't confirm that. I remember mentioning it to Matt, our rep, when he was in here, and I think he just kind of laughed at me, which told me they've definitely thought about it. I don't know. Structurally, you think they could do that? I mean, acoustic. I mean, they do big-bodied acoustics.
Yeah.
Why couldn't they? Do
Yeah,
that,
you could.
There's nothing stopping it outside of maybe demand.
It is it demand.
I wonder what that bridge would have to be on
well,
there. Like, I just feel like that would be some things with that. I don't. So yeah, I don't know if they're doing that, but I know they just released the Jazzmaster, which Todd next to you. Grab that guy. Show that guy off.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So why don't you explain to people, if you're not familiar with what the Acoustasonic was? There's 3 different types. There's a Strat, or the Tele was the first, then the Strat, and the Jazzmaster. Why don't you just let them know kind of what that is and how each model, like, there's some differences between the models. So what the basis of the Acoustasonic is what?
Yeah, I mean, the basis is that you're getting the voicing, like the special electronics that make up each model, which do differ, but it's still the same premise, right? You know that the Sir sound hole, the special design sound holes on all of them. The ebony fretboard, that's going to be universal. I think what separates them is just the body shape, and what in the electronics, each model, the last 2 positions do something different, right?
So functionality wise,
yeah. So I mean, each one's going to have a 5-way switch, and you're going to get what they call the AB.
Do that
side.
closer to your microphone again.
Oh,
Why don't
yeah.
you get that right in there? Just want you.
Get that.
Master volume, your AB side, which is kind of how you get the difference of guitars on each side, and then what pickup you're selecting, your voicing. So they're all.
So this is a blend.
Correct. Yeah, it's like you have side A, side B.
So it's not a tone knob. It's a blend knob.
No, it's a blend. There's no tones on this. So it has 5 to 1. 5, 4, and 3 are typically the same functionality on each model. Although the acoustic models that they chose can differ.
Yeah,
So
Fishman does all that. So Fishman
Yeah.
creates the acoustic images. So maybe on the Jazzmaster, the 5th position is a jumbo rosewood to a jumbo maple,
Yeah,
and
I mean,
you blend it. Whereas the next one might be a dreadnought version or something along those
You're
lines.
going to get some type of square shoulder dread. You're going to get some kind of parlor. On these models, you're going to get like a jumbo. This one has a jumbo built in. I just know off the top of my head, like position 5, you have a square shoulder dread on one side, you have a round shoulder on the other. Position 2, you have a jumbo, right? And I think the other one is a concert or parlor. When you get into position 3, though, you're getting into the body sensor aspect of the guitar, because there's 3 pickups built into these on all of them, right? You have your piezo body sensor, and then your specially designed Fishman modeling technology. And then positions 1 and 2 are really where they differ electronically. In this one, they go position 2, they're including what they call a lo-fi piezo and a lo-fi piezo crunch. And then position 1 is where you get into this bad boy here, which is your clean and then your overdriven sound. You can literally plug this into a PA position 1 and you have like distortion built in. So yeah, I mean, they're killer. They feel great. They sound great. They're it's acoustic, or Fender's first attempt into the American-made acoustic, and they really hit it out of the park. So
And so if you're thinking about one, give us a ring. Check out the website.
Yeah.
Todd's done videos on majority of this stuff. That's on our YouTube channel if you're on there. And again, if you're on the YouTube, please hit subscribe, turn your notifications on. We appreciate you kind of following us through that type of stuff. So it leads us into kind of the final question that we had. And again, probably not too deep into this, but are any major brands planning any line of guitars, acoustic or electric, that replace all of the wood with synthetic materials?
Well, they exist. And
People
they're
would know
carbon,
what
yeah,
it
they're
is.
carbon graphite guitars. You know what I
Nothing
mean?
we
For their
don't carry
acoustics.
anything.
No, I know, you know, PV used to own a brand. I can't remember the name of it. It was a carbon graphite. The Rain Song, I think, is what it was.
Right. Oh, I
And
remember
the big thing at
that.
NAMM was they'd have this massive, like 30-foot waterfall, and the guitars would all be under the waterfall, just getting rained on because they were carbon graphite. So technically, if you wanted to have a $2,500 or $3,000 carbon graphite guitar, if you travel a ton, or I think people like them in like Arizona where it's hyper dry, or Florida where it's really swampy, where there's issues with humidity control that is just really, they're just difficult to overcome. But I mean, the reality of it is let me tell you who never ever strummed a carbon guitar and thought it sounded like a wood guitar. It just, you know, it's like one of those things where it's the reason you're getting it is for other reasons than tone. Realistically, it's no different than buying like a Baby Taylor or a Little Martin. You're not buying it because it's the best sounding guitar on earth. You're buying it because you want something more portable, right? So your priority in this instance would be like pretty much weather resistant. That would be the only thing I could really think of. I think Parker Fly's done graphite guitars in the past.
Yeah, I mean, there's another. I think there's another carbon type manufacturer.
There's like that James Toussaint who does metal.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? He does electric guitars, which are cool and they're super expensive. But it's like the reality of it is like the reason why this stuff doesn't exist is because you guys don't ask for it and don't want it. You know what I mean? It's just like the demand isn't there. You know, it's just
I
like,
think
but
most people want a good tone.
yeah.
So tone woods and like kind of trump, not functionality, doesn't take the place of functionality, but like people want good sounding guitars.
Yeah, and it's
You know what I
sustainability
mean?
is your main thing. Like all like Taylor, Martin, you know, Gibson, Fender, they're always very aware of where their wood is coming from. You know what I mean? Especially over the CITES rules changes over the last 5 or 10 years. Now, so more than ever, I think that they realize that their wood sourcing is important for like ethical reasons and for sustainability reasons. So, you know, I know specifically Taylor is investing in tons of forests everywhere. They're, you know, they're doing a lot of COA work right now where they're taking, I think Bob put his own money into, I think something like 1,000 acres of COA, because COA used to be all over Hawaii. And in the 1800s, the British gave the Hawaiians cattle as a gift because it was very valuable to be in the beef industry. So as that industry now fades, like they have all this land that's not used, so they're going to grow COA, and now it'll be an abundant thing. So I think manufacturers are taking a bigger part in their supply chain too. So
I mean, we won't have to get into synthetics with the nowadays, and especially with that, like these manufacturers being very proactive with, you know, the wood being around for generations.
Yeah.
You know,
they know.
Yeah, I think there's much more of a sustainable approach to that type of stuff. And we do see the synthetic occasionally, like the rich light fretboards.
yeah,
came
the
through on
HPL. I mean, there's
Gibson
always
and-
going to be synthetic. Yeah.
Yeah, but even those, I mean, to be honest with you, I don't think we love that stuff when it comes through.
Well, you know, the allure of it is that it's different. You know what I mean? It's not really better. I mean, well,
I don't think it ever sounds.
no, it just
I
doesn't.
mean, I don't want to talk smack on a manufacturer thing, but like rich light fretboards don't necessarily sound good. They don't feel great.
Here's the deal. Like everything in life, when we, you know, we all approach showing guitars, talking guitars to customers differently. But to me, I always think, or I always will tell you, you know, if we took all the price tags off the guitar, are you going to want that one or this one? Well, it's like, if it's, you know, the reason that the rich light might be on the less expensive one is because it's less expensive and it's not typically most desirable. So what comes on $100,000 acoustic guitars? Okay, ebony fingerboards. Well, it's probably the best. You know what I mean? So it's just like, so that also doesn't mean we have to like slaughter the environment, you know, which previously was not a concern. Now the manufacturers are very in tune, like I said, and I think that they're making sure, and like even Taylor over the last year, you bring out roasted eucalyptus on their American Dreams for their fingerboards and bridges, shows that they're trying to slow the demand of other things and introduce woods that are different. And they're going to do that. But, you know, synthetics are tough. I mean, it's just like, you know, they're durable. You know what I mean? It's just like, that's what you're buying. You're buying durability. But if you're buying a guitar because it can take the most use.
Once again, we're going back to why
a different reason.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're going back to why you're buying.
it's not the best sounding.
Yeah, the
typically.
eucalyptus and like the urban ash.
Yeah,
they're
great.
taking like trees that essentially grew out of
streetscapes.
Yeah, streetscapes and using that in the woods. They sound great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Someone that comes to me and says, "Hey, I want a guitar to keep at the cabin."
Yeah,
you know, it's like, okay, well then, you know, if it's just going to stay there, you probably want an
Yeah.
HPL or layered, something like that. You don't have to, you know, worry so much.
I had a gentleman just in the back of the Taylor and was looking at like he was playing like a 214 and a GS Mini, and he was like trying to decide between the two sonically. And I'm like, well, sonically,
Yeah.
I mean, there's really no. I mean,
That's
go with
the
the 214 there. It's big and full. Are you getting something? Do you want something to travel with, or do you want something that's comfortable? That then, I mean, at that point, something like a GS Mini or a smaller guitar, they sound great for what they are from a travel perspective. They're awesome. If you're comparing it to a big body guitar and you want bass, it's like just not going to get it. So you have to kind of, we want people to know why they're buying, why you come into a shop like us, like another local guitar store that you might be at. It's like, go in and ask somebody, and if they're good at their job and they're a good store, they want to get you the right guitar. We're going to ask you questions. Why are you getting it? If you come in and say, I want a travel guitar, then it's like, I'm not going to show you a D18.
No, yeah.
You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. So, yeah, go into your shops.
Let's do some rapid fire questions here. So, Anthony, here we go. Ready? This is from Jay Sorensen. This is up your alley. So, if you have questions, now's the time. Type them in. Let's do it.
I see that.
He wants to know, FSR Deluxe PJ bass, and the Fender bass. Are you? I mean,
FSR Deluxe Precision PJ.
We'd have to know kind of what year that is. That's a little complicated.
If it's a deluxe, is that the predecessor to the Elites?
It would have been that, or it would have been a Made in Mexico Deluxe, which.
Maybe. Well, I mean, PJs are always cool. I don't know that specific model, but I mean, PJs are always a nice option to have. I mean, having the P bass pickup and a J bass pickup kind of gives you the best of both worlds. I will say this: I prefer either a P or a J. There's something every time I've owned a PJ bass with a Precision and a J pickup in it, I've ended up never using the J pickup.
Yeah,
it just is something. I don't know if it's a wiring thing. I don't know if it's the positioning of the pickups. Like both pickups wide open on a PJ doesn't sound like a J.
Yeah.
Where like you buy a jazz bass and you solo that front pickup, it sounds a lot like a P. You know what I'm saying? So if I was going to get a 2-pickup Fender style bass, I'd rather it just be a straight up J bass, unless I was really hell bent on the spacing at the nut. You know
I feel like for guitar players, like I'd be excited to get a PJ. If I was going to own like one bass, I'd want to have like the versatility maybe. That you're probably it's like anything. It's like a spork. It's not the greatest fork. It's not the greatest spoon.
You can pull that P pickup out of the front pickup of a J. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I know that just from all the demos I've done.
We'll fight about this later.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Well, you're the boss, so he's right. This guy's right. Trust me.
Well, no, I mean, I can see like, and it's
honestly, whatever you like. But I mean, you know, if you want again the aesthetic and you want a straight up P pickup in the front there, you can never go wrong with it. I know when I had a PJ, when I'd be taking a solo, which was very rare for me on a gig, that's when I would use that J pickup. So it was nice to have. Yeah. But play it, see if it sounds right to you. There's obviously a ton of options there. So what else we got?
All right, please enter in. This is from Mr. Cellini. He wants to know. Oh no, I'm sorry, that's not from that. From Gary.
Mr. Cellini saying Anthony's the man.
Yeah, that's right. We won't talk about that.
That's a great question. That's a great statement. Thank you.
Is it Ganymede? I don't know, but he's asking. It's a local customer, and I would love for you guys to type in what brands you'd like to see at Empire.
Yeah.
Well, we carry PRS or boutique amps, so if you have suggestions, but this is something we talk about often,
all the time,
because brand, like, you know, every store is different. I think the best way to do brand is by going very deep and wide. Like if we're going to carry Fender, it's like you're going to walk in and I hear more often when people walk in the door, I've never seen so many Fender guitars in my life.
No, all the time.
Custom shops, of course, because but even, I don't care, Squire, we've got racks of guitars hanging at our ceiling, our local customers knows. We've got Fender guitars for days. Because
Matt Schultz?
Yeah, that's right. He's in Naples right now vacationing. We want you to come in. If we're going to say we're a Fender dealer, I think I said this last time, I believe in like the car dealership model. You don't go to the Honda dealership and they have like 4 Hondas, 3 of this, 3 of that, because then you don't actually get a chance to find out really what you want. And for us, when you go to our website or you come to our shop in person, we want you to experience the brand wholly. And I don't know, like, obviously too, like carrying a brand of guitars is not like a unilateral decision. We don't say we're going to carry Fender guitars and then just order Fender guitars. These lines are very complicated to receive dealerships for. And believe me, when I opened up, well, Todd worked here early on, then left and came back. It's like we had Taylor and Martin, but we also we basically had Yamaha and Dean electric guitars, Samick. And it's like, it's not because we didn't want to have different brands of guitars necessarily. It's just like you have to have somebody at Fender or at Gibson think you're worth their time. You know what I mean? And that's not, and a lot of that has to do with the proximity to other dealers. That's how it used to be. Now it's a little different because the buy-ins are massive and it's really an online game now. We're like satisfying many, but it's just like, I'd love to know, maybe next week we put that question out with brands and stuff you like. I mean, I think PRS guitars, like PRS is cool. I mean, like I think that to do it right, you have to have somebody that loves the brand. Like, like somebody that really believes in it. Like when you talk to Todd about the guitar brands here, electric guitar brands, or Anthony about the basses, or like how I feel about the acoustic guitars, they're things that I think they're things I would own. And I don't know what you guys think about PRS. I think PRS are cool. It's not like I've never owned one. I don't think it's like something that I couldn't live without.
Todd has more experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I do with it.
they're a well-made guitar. Obviously, with having someone like John Mayer on board, I mean, they you don't get artists like they do by being just an amateur. But with that said, though, it's what I found is that the stores that do carry PRS, that's all they carry.
Yeah, it's
and
a very
that's kind
heavy
of one of those
commitment.
things where you have to go all in on that. Where we're fortunate that we don't just carry Fender, even though we have so much of it, and we have lots of other things. The Gibson, and we
Yeah, the trick is like, so with every brand, there's like a dealer category, right? And it's like you want to be like with Fender, we're a showcase dealer, which is the best. Taylor, we're an online preferred dealer. It's the highest, and there's maybe 15 of those. There's maybe 25 showcase dealers for Fender. Martin has a new custom shop expert program, which is only 25 in North America. We're one of those. It's a new program. Which we're going to be, oh man, wait till that stuff hits in the next month or so. You guys are going to be Martined out here.
Yeah, you'll see that stuff.
My conversations with Gibson all the time are revolving around like, how do we get to that next level where we can present the best guitars? And with PRS, they have a distinctive dealer, I think they call it, or something along those lines. And you go to those sites and Todd's right. They have $400, $5,000 PRSs. And they're all 10 tops. And that's like, to me, it's like basically they're like single cut or double cut, quilty, flamey tops. It's just like, it's a lot of guitars. You know what I mean? So we'd have to sort through that. I don't know what will happen. I think in our world right now, the way I see it is we'd love to, with the Martin Custom Shop Expert program, maximize that because they make amazing guitars and get Gibson sorted out and hopefully create. And then we'll see what we need then. You know what I mean? It's like always been like, I always think it's weird when a shop has like 65 brands of electric guitars or acoustic guitars, like mixed and match, and they have like 6 of everything. I just think they're not doing justice to their customers who are looking for those brands. So that's just me personally.
Or it's just their warehouse only. I mean, they don't have brick and mortar. That's
right,
how you can carry 7,000 brands because you don't have brick and mortar.
I think if the Gibson stuff, like if we get that custom shop up to where, if we get the Gibson product steadily and we get that to where we want it to be, and the Martin thing takes hold like we think it's gonna when that stuff comes in, then it's like, okay, let's let that kind of be the plateau for a second, and then we start to think about what else fits. We just got Jackson, Charvel, and this stuff's awesome. Like it fits it, and we weren't sure how it fit in. Obviously, Gretsch hasn't been the hottest of mover out of it's probably been the least out of those 4, but still,
what's the most niche too?
Still rolling through them. But like the Charvel stuff's been a real nice addition.
Can't keep EVH
guitars we can't keep in. The amps are cool. So it's like, we've talked about PRS quite a few times, and it's just like maybe when the time's right, we bring it in.
Yeah, you have to master what's in front of you. Like right now, it's like I think our goal is to survive getting like back reopened with lessons, see what that looks like. But hopefully by the summertime, that's happening in some capacity. And then as Martin and Gibson grow, make sure that we're delivering the quality that got us to where we're at. It's like we want to make sure that you aren't waiting to hear back from us. we're sending out premium guitars, and that'll always happen. That's never going to change as long as we don't get ahead of ourselves. And I think once we sort that out, we'll, really gonna then be able to say, how do we need it? And what's the staffing look like? Who's here that can help make sure it's, it's like the reality of it is like this week has been a perfect example. We got our asses handed to us all week long. I mean, it's been from 10 in the morning, basically till 6 has been just like a street fight. I mean, it's been great. And we're really grateful for all the business, but it takes everything working smoothly to get done what gets done. Because if we were just sticking guitars in boxes not set up, we could do it in half the time. It's really the number one crux of the problem is inspecting the guitars, making sure they're packed properly, all those things, because it's exhaustive. You know what I mean? And the reality of it is I don't think, and there's no one here that's like making $7 an hour that's just like, that shoves things in boxes. Like we don't do it that way because we want to make sure it's done right. So the trick is it's taking someone's time to do it right, which is excellent. That's the way we want it. But I think right now it's like to grow into the capacity that we're growing to, that'll just be the way we sort it out.
Shout out to Brett Pico.
Brett.
What's up, man? I've seen
one
you
of
in a
our
while, buddy.
great teachers.
Yeah, one of our teachers, and hopefully lessons will get back flowing here. We're going to take one more question out of here. Joseph Hayes, this is a great conversation. Yeah. Joe, is Martin going to catch up soon on production? How about another high-end acoustic? Thinking Collins. We actually kind of talked about that. That's funny you say that. But let's talk about the Martin Custom Shop program real quick and how we're getting guitars. Then we're going to wrap things up here.
So Martin is not catching up. I mean, Martin is. It's going to be to the 2023 before they get straightened out. That's Martin, Gibson, Taylor, everybody. They're going to have to get through a whole business cycle. The Custom Shop Expert program is going to get released. And I can't really tell you about the models, but there's going to be exclusive models to these 25 dealers. I can tell you that we're getting 1/6 of their worldwide production here at Empire. We've committed to a ton of it because it's awesome. So we have that. We also have a wood. I did a wood selection virtually last year, and those guitars are scheduled, I think, for June or July of exclusive bracing patterns with wood combinations you can't get anywhere else. So we have those coming. We do have guitars scheduled out for the rest of the year. But in terms of catching up, like if you have a guitar on order from Martin, like there's just really not an ETA. They're trying. You know what I mean? It's just like there is an ETA. It's a rolling ETA though. And then the boutique brands, like I think if anything, like I would tend to want to skew more in that direction of boutique acoustic, because I think that those brands offer something really different. I think electric guitars as a general rule are basically mostly for the most part, in many cases, mimics of Fenders or Gibsons. Whereas like there's many acoustic brands that offer a fresh take on something, although Collings is basically a redoing Martin guitars is what they're doing. But you never know.
So this goes back to the point. If you see a Martin guitar that you want and we have it in stock, don't wait around. It's not going to last long. So it's like, if there's a guitar that you want.
We had an OM28E Modern Deluxe that was here for like 8 hours and 9 hours. And most of that was overnight.
Perfect example.
Yeah, Todd sold it. You sold it first thing in the morning.
Didn't even list it.
Perfect example.
Yeah, it wasn't even online. So
perfect example.
Excellent.
So guys, thank you so much for joining us for our second happy hour. We'll do this either next week or in 2 weeks. And we're going to keep making improvements. Like I said, I think we're going to do a giveaway moving forward with some of this stuff. If you guys have any questions at all, feel free to give us a call at the shop, 412-343-5299. It's Joe, it's Anthony, it's Joe, it's Todd, it's Anthony, it's Joe at empiremusic.com, respectively. You can email us with any questions. If you want to get your question in line for the next version of this, you can shoot us an email. You can respond in the comments here. I'll be sending out some emails with a kind of a survey form that will allow you to ask that question. It doesn't just have to be about guitars either. If you want to know, we want to talk everything. We love talking guitars, but if you just want to talk music, what we're listening to, what we play in the shop, what we're digging on as far as bass players, guitar players. Joe loves Rancid.
Yeah. Best singers. The best singer is Tim Armstrong. If you go to our site, empiremusic.com, the contact section, you can join our email list right from there.
Yeah. So do that. And then keep in touch with us, guys. We really appreciate you tuning in. Give us a call. Remember, we have 0% interest financing on everything. We'll get you the best deal on everything. Pro setup on everything that we ship, whether it's 200 or 20,000.
Yeah.
And thanks a lot for tuning in, and we will see you next time.
Thanks, guys.
Peace out.
Have a good weekend.
Later.